Hey everybody, Jeff Miller here, head of SAT instruction at Target Test Prep. I'm very excited to talk to you today about 5 tips on how to improve your math score. We'll go through things ranging from how to study to how to avoid making careless mistakes. And if you can follow the tips on this video, I am confident you will see an improvement in your SAT math score. Tip number 1. SAT math is not just a math test. So look, I know you're in high school right now. I know that you are in math classes in high school. And look, a lot of the stuff that you're doing does carry over to the SAT from a concept perspective. Things like quadratic equations, things like geometry formulas, things you're learning in functions. But the thing is, on the SAT, they're not really giving those to you in the math high school way. They're giving it to you in a more tricky way that's more complex, and there's more steps and things that you have to look out for, and especially more traps. So the deal is, you need to first become competent in these topics, right? The same way you would in any sort of high school math class. And then second, you need to be able to understand the SAT way that these concepts are going to be tested. And the honest thing is, if you can do that, you're going to be successful on SAT math, and you will improve your SAT math score. Tip number 2 on how to improve your SAT math score: take a topic-by-topic approach to your studying. This is huge. I talk to SAT students almost every single day, and I hear about how they're studying. What do most do? They crack open the latest book, they bomb through hundreds and hundreds of random questions, and then at the end, they don't know where they're at, they don't know where they're weak, they don't know where they're strong, and the reason is because there's a lot of randomness to their studying. So here's my suggestion. Follow one topic at a time, just one topic. Let's take quadratic equations, for example. You will do everything you need to within that topic to learn about it. You will learn about the quadratic formula. You will learn about completing the square. You will learn about all of the quadratic identities, etc., etc. Now, when that's done and you've learned it and you've taken notes and you've built flashcards, you then will practice that topic like crazy. Do 25, 50 plus questions just on that topic alone. Here's the reason why. When you get through such a granular set of questions on one topic, you can easily pinpoint your weak areas, go back to your prep materials, and then rework those topics, right? And then you're going to rinse and repeat all of this for the rest of SAT math. I'm not saying that topical learning is all you're going to do. You're going to have to do mixed sets at some point. You're going to have to do review sets of past math topics that you've completed. But as you're learning things for the first time, take this topic by topic approach. Trust me, it's going to help you improve your score. Tip number 3, build a strong SAT math foundation first. Now, this kind of goes in line with what I was just discussing about taking a topical approach. And the reason it does is because when you're learning about a specific topic, again, don't just jump into random questions. Build the foundations, build up, get a really strong foundation so that as you stack on more difficult topics to that foundation, it won't break, it won't shift, and it won't move. So with quadratic equations, well, what are some more simple topics you'd learn? Well, you'd learn about how to FOIL a quadratic. You'd learn about how to factor a quadratic. You would learn about factoring out within a quadratic. Things like that prior to learning about completing the square or factor by grouping or the quadratic formula even. So by having a strong foundation, you're never going to go into a set of questions and fold. The reverse of that is if you try to build within a particular topic and have no foundation, you're going to find that there's very basic things within fraction rules or decimal rules or, order of operations within algebra that are going to throw you off. So when learning a topic, when learning SAT math, start with the foundations and build up, and you're going to be in a much better spot to be able to learn these topics the way you need to get a great SAT math score. Tip number 4, regularly review what you have learned. We talked about this a little bit before, but we'll talk about it in more detail now. You're going to learn a ton for SAT math. You just are. There's so much that can be tested on the SAT. So how do you not forget those things? Because students are always asking about this. Well, step one is when you're learning a topic, take notes. Take detailed notes, put stuff in your own words. It's going to help you be a more active reader. It's going to help you be more engaged in what you're doing. And by putting things in your own words in general, it will show you that you have a firm grasp of what it is you're actually learning. Now, those notes are important because you can go back to them at any time for review, and also because you can put them into flashcards or convert them into flashcards. Flashcards are amazing. I don't care if it's an app or note cards that you put in your pocket. They will allow you to review key concepts so things will never fall through the cracks. I mean, think about it. If you study for 4 months, what you learn week 1 versus what you then have on your plate in week 13, let's say, if you haven't reviewed the stuff from week 1, you're just going to forget it. Secondly, do review tests. Do review problem sets. Take problems from the first 3 or 4 topics that you've learned. Let's say you haven't seen them in a month. Do a review set on them. The results of that test will help you see exactly where you're weak. Again, you would go back to your notes, you'd go back to your flashcards, you would just fill in those knowledge gaps. And by doing that all the way to test day, you'll know that when you're a week out, you've firmly reviewed and covered the things that you've learned up to that point, and you won't have these tremendous knowledge gaps that are hanging or hurting you or holding you down on test day. And thus, again, this is a good way to get a great score on the SAT math section. Finally, tip number 5, avoid careless mistakes. All right, the SAT is timed. We all know this. So what does that mean? It means you're probably doing things at a fairly quick pace, quicker than you would for, say, your regular math homework or even a regular math test where you probably have more than enough time to complete it. But the problem is if you go too fast, you are going to make careless mistakes. It's just something that will happen. So what you need to do is you need to slow down and you need to work carefully and you need to work methodically. Yes, you can't go at a snail's pace because then you will run out of time. But if you're very careful about everything that you're doing, you're going to stop making those careless errors. Another thing too is you need to start tracking your errors, because if careless errors is something that you do amongst some of the other kind of macro errors that you maybe make, you need to be aware of that. So if you go through an entire problem set and you get 5 questions wrong because you couldn't read your handwriting, take note of it and then fix it. You can't let these things linger, because all of these types of errors that happen in the careless error category will continue to plague you, not only during your practice, but all the way up to test day. And then what's going to happen on the SAT? You're going to make the same mistakes again. So the bottom line is fix these errors, be aware of them, and if you can do that, you will be better for it on test day, and it is one great way to improve your SAT math score. So that concludes today's video. I had a blast chatting with everybody about 5 tips on how to improve your SAT math score. If you liked today's video, please subscribe to our channel here, and if you have any other thoughts of videos that you would like to see me do, leave a comment in our comment box and I'll be happy to get to them in future weeks. Thanks again for watching, and we will talk soon.